Indeed. Okay, let's do this, shall we? Long ago, there lived a kind maiden named Serenity. She brought prosperity and hope to everyone around her. As an elementary school teacher, she dedicated herself to nurturing young minds, while also supporting her husband Zachary. Unlike his easygoing wife, Zachary was more serious, but his loyalty to her was unwavering. They loved each other very much and vowed one day to have a child. While this was happening, Zachary rose to power by running for mayor. He got the position and promised to the people that take care of their village, Westvale. To celebrate Zachary's success, his wife planned a romantic night in the park. How nice. They set up a small picnic near the forest, a tradition they cherished, marking special moments with simple meals of hand-wrapped sandwiches and lemonade. It was a beautiful night. The moon rose high in the sky. Serenity pointed out a few constellations. I said that right. Then took hold of her husband's hand. I have exciting news for you, she smiled as he finally noticed. He was shocked at first, but then he went ecstatic. He lifted his wife into the air and turned her around. Careful, dear, Serenity warned her husband. He sat her down. This is all we ever wanted. Do you know the gender? She shook her head. Charlotte told me to stop by the clinic so we can find out. She has a friend there that has set up everything already. Zachary took the last bite of his sandwich and helped her wife to her feet. Let's go find out together. What a nice family. How's he gonna fuck up? Serenity and Zachary held hands as they drove to the clinic, each lost in their own thoughts. Serenity secretly hoped for a baby girl. The only other girl she had ever truly known were her mother and sisters, Sierra and Sadie. But the relationship had been strained. Determined to break the cycle, Serenity vowed to protect the child from the same pain she had endured with her mother. Zachary, on the other hand, had always dreamed of having a son. His father had passed away when he was just 4 years old, leaving him with little memory of the man. He had been raised by his mother, a kind and nurturing woman who had done her best. Zachary wanted to make sure he would be there for him, the same way his mom was. Aww. When they arrived at the clinic, Serenity's friend Charlotte was already waiting. She and Zachary helped Serenity out of the car and get checked out. Sorry. Fuck. She and Zachary helped Serenity out of the car to get checked out. They both walked Serenity inside. A nurse with dark brown hair stood next to a bulky machine waiting for them. As they prepared her, Charlotte smiled. You ready to find out your baby's gender? Serenity. Why'd you make it such a difficult name to say? Serenity nodded and sat on the bed. The nurse is just gonna pass this thing over you. It shouldn't hurt. Charlotte's friend showed a device in her hands. She pulled it out from the side and powered on the machine, its gears humming as the screen flickered to life. Slowly, she waved the device over Serenity's small bump, and a grainy image began to form. 5 minutes later, the nurse walked into the back of the clinic after turning off the machine. Zachary looked pale, scared for his wife. Are you okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. Charlotte took Serenity's hand and helped her to her feet. It might take a nurse a few days to finish printing the pictures. The photocopier's not working at the moment. That's understandable. This new equipment was new. Zachary just got it from overseas. Being that he's the new mayor and all, they both nodded and walked toward the exit. Oh no. A few days later, Serenity found a letter in their mailbox. Excited, she called her husband so they could read it together. As they unfolded the paper, Zachary felt a small pang of disappointment. He had secretly hoped for a boy, but the feeling quickly faded away. They were going to have a baby girl. Seeing his wife Joy, he couldn't help but smile. Serenity was already eager to choose a cute name for their daughter. They waited impatiently for the next 2 months, going to work like usual. Serenity had to stay home every once in a while due to nausea, fatigue, and her struggling to breathe. As winter approached, so did their excitement. Christmas was near, and they hoped to welcome their little girl during the holiday season. On the 24th of November, fuck. On the 24th of December, Serenity and Zachary finally finished the nursery for the baby girl. "It's beautiful," they both said in unison, as they held hands and looked at the handy work they both managed to do together. The room was painted light purple with a white crib, a rocking chair, and a little nightlight. They know the babies do. They know that. They know that the baby is due tomorrow, so they wanted to go to the clinic in the early morning. They went to bed earlier than usual to get there in time. The next day, they were on the road. Then suddenly, Serenity started wailing. "Are you okay?" She clutched the door handle. "I think my water broke." Oh, that's not good. Zachary went pale as his wife groaned in agony. He drove faster, which was risky in Westfield due to the road conditions. They got to the clinic and quickly carried her inside. Nurse, we need a nurse over here." He placed her onto a nearby stretcher, and the nurse rolled her into the nearest open room. Zachary stood frozen for a moment before he began pacing anxiously in the lobby. He was scared that they didn't make it in time. Just then, the nurse came back into the lobby. He ran to her and shook her shoulders repeatedly. "Is she okay? Let me see my wife, now!" She pushed away from him, scared out of her mind. Gonna calm down, man. "Right this way, sir," she managed to speak in a shaky voice, turning away towards the room they took his wife in. Zachary took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, then followed her into the room. Serenity looked better. She looked more at ease and smiled when she saw her husband. "I did it," she said weakly. Zachary stood by her side while she held their baby girl. "She's beautiful," she murmured in awe. Serenity placed the baby into her hands. She was sleeping so peacefully and was keeping breathing a little puff as she exhaled. The nurse suddenly came in with another baby in her arms. It was a baby boy wrapped in a blue blanket. Zachary looked confused. "Who's this?" The nurse backed away a little. I was still scared from what occurred earlier. It's your son, sir. Your wife had 2 babies, both healthy." Serenity honestly couldn't believe it. They had twins. She held out to hold her son. "Looks like we'll need another crib, Zach," Serenity said with a laugh. When she was discharged from the clinic, the couple drove home with the babies, Celestia and Carson. Really? Carson? That's what they went with. Imagine having to go to school and your name's Carson. Can you think of a better name than Carson? Okay, let me get back. As soon as they arrived, Zachary wasted no time buying another crib and rearranging the nursery. The room was now a bed of light purple and light blue. Each side of the room was decorated, and in the middle were the 2 cribs. Serenity put them down on the soft blankets as her husband checked his emails. He told his wife that he would have to go into the office tonight because he missed some important calls. "Will you be okay with the kids?" he asked. "Go to the office. I'll call you if I need you. Promise." She kissed them goodbye and then cleaned the house. Afterwards, she walked into the room to get some rest. Zachary's assistant, Miles, was waiting for him in the driveway, clutching a clipboard stacked with papers. His expression was grim. "It must be serious," Zachary thought to himself. He parked and walked over to his assistant. What is it now? I told you I have other important things to do. Miles shrugged. It's not my fault that you're a good mayor. Plus, this is really serious and you have to hear this. We both walked through the building and went into an open meeting room. Zachary sat at the head of the table, while Miles took the last seat available. While Miles took the last available seat. It was past a few digital photographs of men in some type of mass. We took these photos the other day, sir. They were outside the premise of Westvale. Zachary's expression darkened as he flipped through the images. How could you not tell me about this earlier? He scolded aside until one stood hesitantly. Sir, if I may, we weren't sure if they were a threat. The other man quickly added. At first we thought they were just passing through, but they came back yesterday. Earlier again today. They're circling the village, sir. We believe they're planning an attack. Tense silence filled the room. Zachary clenched his jaw. What kind of mask were they wearing? Maybe we could identify these people. It was a dark blue color, sir, one of the men replied. Do you recognize them? Zachary tensed just then. He spoke in a shaky but controlled voice. It's the Phantom Bloods. Miles stood then. What other reason do they have to be here? This can't be a coincidence. They're obviously looking for something. I'm just not sure what. Zachary was frozen in fear just from the name. Those are the same people who killed my father, he thought. We can't let this happen. What can we do to prevent this? Miles spread his hands so he could get more supplies, but it wouldn't get here in time. Plus, they would notice and steal it to arm themselves. Fortunately, they wouldn't help our situation. They were there for at least another hour or so, going back and forth about how to handle the threat right outside their property. Finally, Miles had a suggestion. Best course of action might be to quarantine everyone in Westville. If we'd stay inside and avoid confrontation, we can reduce the risk of casualties. The Phantom Bloods was a serious deal, and Zachary didn't want to see his wife and children caught in the crossfire. Fine, he said at last. Get our defenses ready. Prepare the military. The military? They have their own military. I'll approve the quarantine. After the meeting adjourned, Zachary quickly left the building and climbed into his car. He had barely put his hands on the steering wheel when Miles knocked on the window. Sir, if you don't mind, may I have a few words with you? Reluctantly agreed, sliding out of the driver's seat. What? What? Miles adjusted his glasses, then looked at Zachary concerned. I know what you're trying to do, sir, but you know it's only going to put them in more danger. Zachary stiffened. How did he know? He quickly composed himself, straining his posture. It'd be safer if they aren't here, Miles. Why risk it? Miles met his gaze with quite intensity. You should be asking yourself that question, sir. If you send them away, they won't make it out of Westvale. And even if they do, the Phantom Bloods will find them. And they will kill your family. You will be putting the people you're fighting so hard for in risk. The best way to protect them and everyone else is stay inside the village with supplies. Zachary clenched his fists. He knew Miles was right, but the thought of keeping Serenity and the twins in war zone made his stomach churn. Still, what other choice did he have? Without another word, he gave a small nod, then climbed back into his car, started, and drove home. This is getting serious, damn. The FBT. I just realized I haven't been saying the titles. Sorry about that. Zachary got home later than expected, so to make up for it, he decided to plan a picnic. A perfect day for him, his wife, and their newborn twins to bond. He made sure to pack everything, including extra balls and other small things in their basket. Wanting to start the day off right, he prepared breakfast and surprised Serenity with breakfast in bed. Checked his emails again, and sure enough, there was the new one in his inbox. He sighed in relief as he read it. The Phantom Bloods weren't an immediate threat, but their precautions would still be taken. The government would be informed to ensure the village was prepared to any further future dangers. He put away his phone and sat with his wife, telling her about his plans. Remember that apartment we rented? We could go there for a few days, get some fresh air. Serenity nodded while eating her warm breakfast, as opposed to her cold breakfast. It will be nice to get out somewhere. I already packed everything, except her clothes. She kissed him before he finished. Pack it together, it'll be fun. He smiled as he kissed her back. A few hours later, they were on the road, heading to downtown Anchorage, Alaska. After the twins fell asleep in the back seat, they settled into an easy conversation. How's Rachel? Serenity asked her husband. Oh, she's fine. She wants to come to live in the village to be closer with the family. We don't visit too often, according to her, so she's going to fix that. He smiled after hearing that. Your mom is a strong and very beautiful woman. You are lucky to have a good relationship with her. He frowned as they stopped at the light. You never told me what happened between you and your mom. What made her neglect you so much? Serenity turned her gaze to the window, her expression unreadable. You can tell me now. If you can't trust me, then who can you trust? He took her hand as the stoplight turned green. She wasn't always like that. My parents used to be happy, but my mom always had anger issues. When I was born 10 years after my sister, Sadie, she got worse. She had a drinking problem. It got so bad that Sadie moved out as soon as she turned 18. Zachary listened in silence, his thumb lightly rubbing the back of her hand. She knew she had issues, but never really tried to get the help she needed. She would yell at Dad for encouraging her to get help. Then when I turned 10, she kicked him out of the house. Heavy silence filled the car. Zachary wanted to say something to comfort her, but before he could, the soft cries of their babies broke through the tension. Zachary pulled into a nearby clearing and smiled. Looks like it's time for a picnic. I hope this picnic doesn't get ruined by certain bloods that happen to be phantoms. That'd be very unfortunate. Zachary took out the picnic blanket first, laid it down as he took another look at the design. It was a beautiful shade of gold, black, and dark blue. Apparently, it's passed down to Serenity from her great-grandmother when she came of age. After securing the blanket, he retrieved Celestia and Carson's car seat. Fucking Carson. Alright. Celestia and Carson's car seats, setting them down so the twins could sit comfortably with them. Meanwhile, Serenity unpacked the rest of the picnic supplies. They fed the babies first, then pulled out some plastic plates for themselves. Everything was laid out neatly. Homemade wrapped sandwiches, an abundance of fresh fruit, lemonade, a few small treats. It was all laid out onto a blanket. As Zachary was fixing the plates, Serenity tried to start a conversation with him. You never told me about your father either. What was he like? Zachary forced a smile for his wife's sake. My father, Henry? He was a scientist. He studied all fields of science, which is why I looked up to him. He passed a plate of food to her. He took me to his lab sometimes after school. It was before I became more interested in becoming an inventor. That was my grandfather's career before he retired. An inventor of what? Serenity nodded thoughtfully. Your mom was a therapist, right? He took a bite of his sandwich wrap. Yeah, that's how she met my dad. They were really happy together. He paused as he reached for his glass of lemonade. They stayed there until the sun dipped below the horizon, casting warm hues across the sky. As the air grew cooler, they packed up their picnic supplies and loaded everything into the car. Finally made their way downtown, looking for their old apartment. They found it a few years back, and ever since they've been renting it to pay it off. Small two-story apartment with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, small kitchen, and a living room. By the time they arrived, the city lights had been flickering on, illuminating the streets with a familiar glow. Before they came, Zachary made sure to order some stuff for Celestia and that kid. More cribs, dippers, bottles, etc. The boxes were laid aside of the apartment. Once inside, they set their children down carefully before carrying in the boxes to start opening them. The apartment looked just the way but they left it last. A little dusty, but everything was still in place. After a bit of cleaning, they settled the twins into their new cribs. Finally got ready for their bed, exhaustion giving way to the comfort of being together. Aw. The good old days. Yep. Zachary planned to make the best of the time here, knowing sooner or later Miles would notice his absence. He was famous for ditching his duties, but Miles always found him. He knew him too well. And this vacation wasn't gonna be any different. However, Zachary wasn't planning on staying very long. He just wanted a break from all the responsibilities that came from being a mayor. It was also a great opportunity to spend some quality time with his family. The next few weeks were the best of Zachary's life. The Serenity, as always, was a joy to be around, filling each day with warmth and laughter. And the kids were so cute. They never cried and they loved each other so much. It was almost impossible to separate them at bedtime. That evening, after tucking the babies in, Serenity gently pulls her husband aside. "You know we can't stay much longer, right? Tomorrow makes a month." He nodded, not really paying attention to her. "Hello?" Earthed Zach. "You okay?" "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Just a little distracted." He led her to the living room to sit down. "I know we can't stay long, but what if I were to tell you that You what?" She squeezed his hand a little. He hesitated before sighing. "We're going back tomorrow." Serenity narrowed her eyes. "Zachary, don't lie to me. You said that a week ago." "I'm not. This is the last night, I promise." His wife sighed. "Okay, if you say so. Go get some rest, dear. I'll be with you in a minute." Serenity studied him for a moment, as if sensing there was more he wasn't saying, but she didn't push. With a soft good night, she headed to their bedroom. After she left, Zachary started pacing the living room. He never told his wife the real reason why they came here. He never wanted to become mayor of that stupid village anyway. He only did it to impress his true love, get her hand in marriage. It's been years and they have Celestia and Carson now. Whereas he hates all the things he's expected to do, he has to take care of his family. Running away wasn't helping anyone. It was just creating more rumors about him. Heard some of his staff talking behind his back all the time in the office. Zachary clenched his fists but forced himself to calm down. "I should pack the car early before they wake up. This time, he would willingly go back." An hour before Zachary and Serenity got back, Miles had been called to attend a staff meeting with the other council members. As he stepped inside the conference room, he was met with imposing figures of stern, formidable men. The village executives were seated at the end of the long table. "Ah, Miles, good, always a pleasure to see you," greeted Josh, one of the senior executives. "The pleasure is all mine, sir." Miles shook his hand before taking a seat. "So you have something to discuss, but I assume you all know it already." His colleagues nodded. "That's today? I thought it would have been later this year, sir." "That was the plan, Miles, but this is a serious matter. All these breaks of his are getting out of hand." A wave of hushed whispers swept across the room. Miles stood before the council. "Sir, if I may, the rumors may be true about Zachary, but still, he is a family man. He's needed as a father for his newborns, and Josh got him off his ship glare. And he is also needed as a representative of this town. Him being a father now doesn't change the fact that he is becoming unreliable here in the office, which is why we're here." Are you planning to remove him from the office?" Miles asked, narrowing his eyes. Josh smiled coldly at him. "That wouldn't be smart now, would it?" He interlaced his fingers and leaned towards Miles. which made him uneasy. Tell me now, Miles, which is more important, your family or your people? I'd assume family, sir, but which is why, he said, interrupting Miles before he could finish, they must be handled. Josh checked his watch suddenly, cursing to himself. Be back in about 30 minutes. If I find out that one of you told him about this conversation we all had today, you'll be fired immediately. Do I make myself clear? Josh gave Miles a hard glare while everyone else nodded. Good, you are all dismissed. As soon as everyone else went back to work, Josh placed a cold hand on Mike's shoulder. Miles. His name is Miles, not Mike. I don't believe we finished our small talk yet. Miles yanked his shoulder away, shaking Josh's hand off. I'm pretty sure we did, sir. I answered your questions honestly, and I'm ready to go home now. May I leave, please? Fine, but if I find out, turned to him angrily, which caught Josh off guard. There isn't shit to find out. You want to know so bad? Let me make this clear, you heartless bastard. And for someone who claims to God, I'm fucking this up. I need water. I'm gonna be right back. Need a drink. Yeah, that's so much better. Let's try this again. There isn't shit to find out. You want to know so bad? Let me make this clear. You're a heartless bastard. And for someone who claims to care about leadership, you sure as hell don't understand loyalty. Family makes you weak, Miles. I abandoned my family to build this damn company because they were trying to hold me back. The only people that I thought cared didn't. So now I'm on my own. But I've come to terms with that. Let go of Miles' shoulder. You can go now, but remember what I said. Josh pushed past Miles, leaving there to think about their encounter. Damn. Now you better give Miles his props. He's sticking up for you. Mayor's a turn. When Zachary and Serenity returned to the village, she was granted a maternity leave for a few months. Zachary made it his mission to make sure his wife had everything she needed before he even set foot back into that office. I'm fine. Go back to work before you're late. Serenity reassured him as he hovered around her. I can be late. I just want to make sure you'll be okay with the kids while I'm gone. He checked his watch, cursing to himself. I'll be fine, love. If you say so. He kissed her before grabbing his keys and walking out. Shit, I can't be late, not today. He thought, driving a little faster, but kept to the speed limit, not willing to risk an accident. He parked his car into his usual spot and walked to the office. He waved to his coworkers as he passed. Some waved back, while others neither whispered or didn't pay him any attention. Then again, it was a Monday, and he didn't say anything about it. As soon as Zachary found Miles, he wasted no time addressing the elephant in the room. Look, I'm sorry for being gone so long. I promise it won't happen again. Yeah, of course it won't happen again. He rolled his eyes before adjusting his glasses. I'm pretty sure this is the 7th time so far you said that. Listen, Miles, I'm trying, okay? It's just stressful, annoying, too much to handle. If so, why would you even want this job? If you knew about the consequences. You know already. You were there, remember? Miles nodded. When you were working part-time for the library at the university. But you have her now. So why are you still doing this? I'm a father now. I need to set a good example for my kid when they get older. Miles looked confused for a second. Don't you have twins? I do, no mistake. With Phantom Bloods being around, I can't just leave. I need to make this village a safer place for my kids to live in. I don't trust anyone to be able to do that. Zachary put a hand on Miles' shoulder. You know the struggle, friend. You have a kid too. Caleb, right? He nodded. He turned 5 last week. Wish you could have been there, but that's besides the point. I can't keep doing this for you. Disappearing for a month, Zach? Really? How am I supposed to cover that? Miles is right. He was being selfish. I'll be better for Whalesvale. That's a promise. Molly studied him for a moment before nodding. Good. Because next time, I won't be able to save your ass. They shared a quick, understanding hug before returning to their responsibilities for the day. Time skip. 2 years passed and things seemed to be going great. Serenity was back at work, occasionally bringing Celestia and Karst. It's such a bad name. Along to help develop their skills for school. Zachary was more present at work, which put a pause on the rumors about him. Occasionally they would go out, having picnics more often since the kids were older now. They wouldn't even let them prepare the food sometimes. The way their eyes lit up whenever they spent time together melted their parents' hearts. But despite the peace, an unsettling thought gnawed at Zachary. Couldn't shake the fear of another threat looming over the village. He had to be prepared. So when Zachary had a spare time, he tried to teach his kids how to wield a weapon for combat. Zach, what is this? Serenity was standing there with her work bag. I thought you were still at work. I got off early, she said, crossing her arms. And that doesn't answer my question. Why are they holding swords? So they can learn how to protect themselves. Serenity looked at the kids, then at him, concerned. You're too young for this, Zachary. The sound of a piercing... Wait, no, that caught me off guard. They're too young for this, Zachary. The sound of a piercing scream shot Serenity into action. She dashes towards Celestia, pushing her out of the way of the metal. The sword hit the pavement, barely missing her. Zachary! She could have gone hurt! But she wasn't, he defended, his voice steady but his arms trembling slightly. She's fine. She's fine because that... No, please don't yell at Dad, Mom. It was my fault. No, sweetie, she sat on her knees. It wasn't your fault. Your father shouldn't be doing such dangerous stuff with you and your brother. Carson suddenly frowned hearing that. But Mom, these swords are cool. Twirled the sword a little, showing Mom what he could do with it. Dad taught us cool stuff. I'm pretty sure it is cool, but it's not safe for you and your sister, Carson. She almost got hurt. Carson's excitement faded. His gaze darted to Celestia, realization slipping in. Oh. His grip loosened, dropping the sword and running to Celestia. I'm sorry, sis. I'll be better at protecting, promise. She smiled at him. Okay, I believe you. Then he stood and mocked Zachary, whisper in his ear. We will talk about this later. I'm going to take them inside to wash up for dinner. You take these weapons away before someone else gets hurt. Zachary sighed, but nodded. He watched as the kids walked behind their mother into the house while he put the swords away. Did I take it too far today? Maybe Miles would have some advice when he went into his office tonight. Damn. Okay. Dinner was prepared after a good hour. Some nice homemade spaghetti with garlic bread. So, how is it? Celestia took the first bite. Mom, this is really good. Serenity smiled as she washed the dishes. One of our recipes in the family cookbook, my dear. A cookbook? What's that? I think it's something you'll write about food, Carson said before trying it next. This is really good. Was I right, Mom? She nodded, drying her hair. Hands. Why would she be drying her hair? She's drying her hands. The door opened and Zachary walked inside. He took off his jacket, hanged it on the coat rack, and joined his family in the kitchen. Ooh, spaghetti. His wife was still a little annoyed for putting their kids in danger, so she pretended she didn't hear him. Carson lifted up a fork. Dad, it's so good. You should try some. I'm not hungry, son, but I appreciate it. Go ahead and finish eating. Suit yourself, Dad. These are mine. So I just started laughing. Serenity turned her and then, setting 2 more plates onto the table. Zach, can I talk to you for a moment, please? Oh shit, I'm about to be scolded again, he thought to himself before walking to the nearest open room. His wife followed behind him, closing the door. Now, I'm going to ask you again, she said before turning to him. Why? Why would you let our children play with swords? Self-defense. It's for their family. So our kids, in your opinion, is safer playing with sharp objects. He nodded slowly while she sighed. You're not getting what I'm trying to say. And you're not getting what I'm trying to do. I didn't want to tell you, but the village might be in danger. She looked puzzled. Danger? Danger how? It's a long story, but there was a threat circling your property 2 years ago. And there's still talk about it at the office. It's not for certain what we're going to do yet. And you're telling me this now? After 2 years, Zach? Better now than way later. I'm supposed to go in tonight and see what the executives will do about it. She took a seat on the nearest chair. What did this mean for the kids? That's the main reason I'm going, and why I'm trying to teach them how to fight. They're too, Zach. Way too young for you to even think about letting them around stuff like that. You have to be more mindful about that kind of safety too. He sighed but nodded. Maybe he did do too much too fast for them. Okay, how about this? I'll go in tonight, and when I come back, I'll tell you what they say. Deal? Fine, just be careful, okay? I promise. He opened the door, but stepped back, suddenly seeing Celestia and Carson tumbling inside. What are you two doing? Carson stood first, then helped his sister to her feet. We finished our food, then we called for Mom. You guys were just taking too long, so we came over to check on you. Oh, we're fine. We were just talking about, Christmas. Are you sure? Because that's not what it sounded like. Zachary covered Celestia's mouth. You're funny, sweetie. There were a knock on the door, so you looked confused. You plan on having anyone over? He shook his head. Not that I know of. The person at the door knocked again, a little more urgent. I'll check it. You all stay here. Zachary walked towards the door, opening it slowly. He pushed the door open, letting himself in. Zachary, you need to come to City Hall right now. What happened? Did I miss something? Unfortunately, it's more than that. It's the Phantom Bloods. They've invaded. Damn. Mom, Dad's been gone for a while. Is everything okay? Celestia asked, tugging at the hem of Serenity's shirt. He just went to work, sweetie. Why don't you two go play until he comes back? Ooh, good idea. Come on, Carson. She grabbed his hand and dragged him into the room. Serenity smiled before going to finish cleaning the kitchen. Celestia closed the door. Car, do you think Mom's lying? Instead of answering, he suddenly asked, Do you remember our older cousin? Celestia frowned. Changing the subject? Yeah, Naki. Yeah, Naki. I remember him. You met him that one time at the family reunion. Were you not paying attention when Mom was teaching you? She threw one of their toys at him. I'm trying my best, okay? It's not like I'm good at everything like you. Carson laughed before walking over to her. That doesn't mean you don't have talent. When you find it, you'll know. He hugged her before their mother walked in. How old are they? Average 2-year-old. No. Sorry. Gents. It's not helping. Behavior. You really smell like that. Yeah, these are 2-year-olds. These are fucking magic children. I've never met a 2-year-old as intelligent as Carson. He hugged her before their mother walked in. Okay, kids, time for bed, Serenity said in a soft tone. But Mom... Celestia grabbed her mother's arm while shouting. Come on now, sis. It's past our bedtime. We can play tomorrow. I'll take care of Mom, don't worry. If you say so. She set Celestia into her bed and pulled over the covers for her. And pulled the covers over her. Tomorrow is another day, sweetie. She kissed her forehead before walking on and closing the room door. Celestia sat up immediately and turned to her brother. So what are we going to do now, Car? Going to sleep. I hope you do the same, he said as she groaned and climbed out of the bed. You're no fun. Why not try something interesting for once instead of being so smart all the time? I'm trying to make things easier for Mom. She's already tired. Don't make it harder than it needs to be for her. He grabbed her waist, lifting her back into bed. Go to sleep, sis. I'll see you in the morning. He pulled the covers over his sister as she fell asleep. Carson turned the lights off and climbed to his bed. I do miss her cousin. Maybe I can convince Mom to let us see him sometime. He finally closed his eyes and went to sleep. Damn. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next.